Hi everyone, welcome to this week's session. For those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Linadia. I'll be your yoga teacher for the next half hour or so. I hope everyone is feeling well and healthy, ready to move. This week's session is going to be a bit of a contrast from last week's session, where last week we were moving really strong, really fast. This week we're also going to be moving quite strong but really slow. So for those of us who did last week's session, see how different this one feels and how it makes you feel, because everybody likes something different. Every person's body reacts to something differently. But I just thought, to have the bit of a contrast. But yeah, I think that's enough talking. One thing I almost forgot to mention, I will be showing modifications throughout, of course. So we'll just take it at whatever pace we can. All right, let's get started. So we're going to start sitting up on the balls of our feet. So here already, it's not necessarily a very strong pose in terms of using your muscles, but it can be very intense on the feet. So just breathe. Focus on the breath, don't focus on your feet. If it comes to a point where it's too much, then you can come onto your hands, just twist through the ankles, maybe tap through the feet a bit, and then come back until we're done. I do challenge you to try your best, stay in it for as long as you can. The more and more you practice it, the more and more you sustain yourself, the easier it gets. All right. So we just start off becoming centered here. Bringing ourselves into our space. Bringing awareness to your surroundings. Just finding yourself here. Coming to peace with where you are. If you like, creating a bubble around you. And just deciding that in this bubble, it's just you and your movement. Anything and everything that's outside of this bubble doesn't really matter right now. Now we're just taking some time for ourselves. Some time to take care of ourselves. Some time to de-stress. Some time to just help our bodies feel better. Bringing the mind into the body. Scanning through the body, making sure that we're not holding any tension anywhere, any unnecessary tension anywhere. So checking through the face, make sure the eyebrows are relaxed, the forehead, the jaw, down through the neck into the shoulders and the arms, and also through the torso, down into the legs. And then we bring the mind to the breath, not placing any judgments on how we're breathing, just awareness. Starting to breathe deeper now. Feeling the air coming into the belly as we inhale, and as we exhale, the belly comes in towards the spine, pushing the air out of the lungs. Really expanding the belly as we inhale, and as we exhale, we push the belly back in towards the spine. Expel all the air out of the lungs. Taking deep, slow breaths. And then bringing your hands down onto the mat. Now all of us tap through the feet, twist through the ankles. Maybe wiggle through the toes. Breathing. Make sure you've got your knees directly underneath your hips, your wrists directly underneath your shoulders. And then we're going to make circles with the hips and with the shoulders. So opposite circles with the hips and the shoulders. Loosening through the torso. Taking nice deep breaths. Change directions. And then coming to stillness. Pressing the hands into the floor. Make sure the palms are flat. Pressing the tops of the feet into the floor. Inhale, drop the belly looking up. Exhale, starting from the tailbone, rounding the spine, looking towards the belly. And again, inhale, drop the belly looking up. Exhale, rounding the spine, looking towards the belly. One last time, inhale, drop the belly looking up. And exhale, rounding the spine, looking towards the belly. Pushing the back up towards the sky or the ceiling. Breathing. And then coming back to neutral. And then we step the feet back, come into our downward dog. Walking the feet here, loosening through the legs now. So we did the torso, now we do the legs. Breathing. Pushing one heel into the floor at a time. Really stretching through the backs of those calves. Taking deep breaths into the legs. Now bringing the heels into the floor, coming to stillness just for a second. And now we're going to do the same thing with the arms. So we're going to press one elbow down at a time. It might feel a bit strange, but I'm also hoping that you might feel a bit of a stretch coming into the shoulders. A bit of a different stretch than what we're used to. Breathing. So just one elbow at a time. And then dropping one elbow. And then dropping the other elbow. Coming into our dolphin pose. Step the feet forward. Just by one step. And then we press the heels into the floor. And we press the chest backwards. Press the shoulders backwards. You want to imagine that there's a straight line coming from your shoulders all the way up to your hips. Taking deep breaths. For those of us who are a bit more advanced, you can come up into your shoulder stand if you like. Into your elbow stand if you like. Breathing. And then remember which elbow you place down first. Now bring that one up and then the other one up. Step the feet back by a step. Inhale, coming up with the right foot. Exhale, bring it in between your hands. And then coming up. Breathing here. Leaning into that front leg. Feeling the stretch in your hip flexor. Inhale, bring the hands together except for the index fingers. Grow tall and then lean backwards. Now bring them apart. The elbows come as far apart as they can. And then bring the arms back and then forward. Now we're leaning forward over the front leg. If you're already feeling like it's too much, you can relax the back knee. If you'd like to advance here, you can come up onto the toes of the front leg. Breathing. Bring the heel down. Exhale, bring the hands down to your heart. Come into a twist. Keep looking down. Breathe. Really opening up through the chest. Inhale. And then we're going to lift up the back leg and bring it to meet the front leg. So whenever you're ready, coming forward. And then coming into a twisted chair. So you're still bent at the hips. If you were in your low lunge, you can then just lift up the back knee and come up into your chair pose. Breathing. If you'd like to advance here as well, coming up onto the tippy toes of the front leg, of the feet. If you've advanced, releasing the toes, bring the left hand to the outside of the right foot, still in your twist. Try to make sure that the knees are in the same line. One knee is not in front of the other. Breathe, and then straighten the legs. Now bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot, straightening the right leg out. I'm going to move back, otherwise this table is going to hit me in the head. So coming back, lifting the back leg into our half moon. And then we're going to bring the hands to our hearts, close off the hips. Now we're in our warrior 3. Make sure the right hip is coming down, straightening out the arms if you'd like to advance. Breathing. And then we're going to bend the front leg and release the back leg into our high lunge on the other side. Breathe here. So if you're not sure that the distance between your feet are correct, you can drop the back knee and then check that you can bring the front knee on top of the ankle and that you feel a stretch in the back of the hip flexor here. In the front of the hip flexor. And then if you're good, coming up back into your high lunge, arms up, or you can stay in the low lunge if you did before. Fingers together except for the index finger. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, open up the arms and then stretch the arms back and then forward. My left leg is definitely my weaker leg. Coming up onto your tippy toes if you did on the other side. Breathing. And then releasing, bring the hands to your heart, twist. Keep looking down. You can look to the side for a while, but just remember that we're going to step the foot forward and you're going to be wanting to look down for that. All right, get ready. Inhale, and your exhale, stepping forward. Slow and controlled step. In your twist, make sure the knees are in the same line. And if you did on the other side, coming onto your tippy toes. And then releasing, stretching the right arm down, left arm up. And then straighten the legs. Bring the right hand to the outside of the right foot. Straightening the left foot up into the air. Into our half moon. You can have a block here underneath the hand. Sorry, I didn't mention earlier. And then bringing the hands to the heart, closing off the hip. Into our warrior 3 variation. And then if you're feeling strong, coming into your full warrior 3. Breathing. And then bend the front leg, step back into our high lunge. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, bring the hands down. And then we're just going to swap feet, just for the sake of evening it out, because then we would have been on the right leg more than the left. Just hold it here. Inhale. On your exhale, stepping the foot back, and then holding your plank. Make sure that the hips are tucked in. You're pushing out to the shoulders. The hips are not too low, not too high. Breathe. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, drop the knees, chest and chin, or come down into your full chaturanga and inhale up. Exhale into your downward dog. Taking deep breaths here. If you'd like to, you can rest in a child's pose. Always making the practice your own, doing what you can. If you're in your child's pose, coming back up into your downward dog. Sorry, it was such a short one. And then this time, we're going to go back into our dolphin pose. This time, I want you to see if you can bring both elbows down at the same time. And then we step both feet in by one step. Push the shoulders back. So in your dolphin, we tend to bring the hands together. See if you can keep the hands in line with the elbows, while still maintaining pushing the chest backwards, pressing the heels into the floor, and breathing. It's not a very easy pose. It's an inversion because we have our heart above our head. See the description for benefits of inversions. All right, and then this time we're going to see if we can come up with both elbows again. If not, just come up with one at a time. And then we're going to step the feet back. Inhale, come up onto your toes. Exhale, onto the feet. Onto the knees. And then untuck the toes. Come up onto your belly. However you want to come onto your belly. And then we're going to stretch out the arms. First, just take a breath here. Taking some deep breaths. And then we're going to do a few butterflies. So inhale. Inhale, straighten the right leg, left arm. And then drop them. Left leg, right arm, and then drop them. Take a deep breath. Inhale, stretch both up, and then bend at the knees. See if you can grab the feet, and then pushing the knees up into the air, looking up, pushing the feet into the hands, pulling the feet with the hands. If you couldn't get into your bow pose like that, what you can do is you can just relax. Those of you in your bow pose, you can stay there. You could have just relaxed the head, bend one knee at a time, and then come up. Take one more breath in your bow pose and release. Bring the hands underneath your forehead, take a breath. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale. You're just going to push the chest up into your cobra. Lift up the knees. Get a nice stretch. So now we're in our upward dog. And then drop the knees again. And then bend at the knees, trying to get the feet to touch the head. Come up onto the fingertips if you like. Breathing. Release the feet. Push back into your downward dog. Into your child's pose. Giving your back a break here. And giving yourself a break. Taking deep breaths. Inhale, roll the spine, come forward onto your hands and knees. Bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. And then we're going to inhale, coming up with the right hand. Exhale, bring it underneath, resting the shoulder onto the floor, resting the head onto the floor. Bringing the left hand up into the air, bend at the right arm, and then bring the hands together. Try to get the chest towards the hands, so we're really twisting through the body. Breathe here. And then try to see if you can lift up the left leg. And then this next move is going to take a lot of balance. So just focus. Turn your head, see if you can stare at something. Drop the right hand. Left hand comes up and to the other side of the hip. If you can get it there. Breathing. And then release the back leg. Bring the left hand onto the floor, push yourself up. And then we're going to do the other side. So inhale up with the left arm, exhale underneath. Resting the head onto the mat. Right arm comes up and the hands come to meet each other in prayer at the heart. So pushing the chest up towards the hands, really coming into a twist. And then now we see if we can straighten the back leg, or we can straighten the right leg rather. Breathing. Turn your gaze to something that'll help you. Turn your gaze to something that is stable. Bring the hands down, releasing the left hand onto the floor. Right hand comes up. And then bring the right hand to the opposite side of the hip. Breathing. And then release the leg. Release the arm. And then once again pushing back into your child's pose. Really stretching forward, stretching the fingers as far forward as they can go. Stretching the bum as back, as close to the heels as they can go. Feeling the stretch through the shoulders. If you'd like, you can come up onto the tippy fingers. And then inhale, come up. And then we're going to come onto our pigeon pose. So bringing the right ankle towards the left wrist. As you drop the knee down, allow the foot to come in a bit. Inhale, push yourself up first, pressing the left hip down. So you don't want to be leaning onto your side. You want the hips to be square. Inhale and then exhale. Come down onto your elbows. And if you feel comfortable enough here, stretching the arms. And then if you'd like to intensify the pose even more, you just bring the foot up. So eventually you'll have a 90-degree angle with the knee. Another thing that I often like to do if I want to intensify the pose is I'll just bring my hand onto the opposite hip. So in this case, my left hand onto my left hip. Just putting that slight bit of pressure on the left hip to close off the hips. And then we just breathe here. Taking deep breaths. And then bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. We push up, tuck the back toes, lift up the body, bring the knee out from underneath, and you can drop it onto the floor. So we can swap onto the other side the same way we did on the first side. So first we just bring the left ankle towards the wrist. Make sure we walk the back leg back. Again, you don't want to be at an angle. So we inhale, push ourselves up, squaring off the hips, and as we exhale, we come down onto the elbows. And if you feel comfortable enough here, you can stretch the arms forward. If you're on your elbows, you can stack the fists, placing the head on the fists. You can also get yourself a block, place it here in front of you, and then just rest your head on the block or on a pillow or on a teddy bear, whatever you like. Taking deep breaths. Taking deep breaths into the hips. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale, push yourself up. And then this time we're not going to lift up the body. We're just going to turn over onto the side, bring the back leg forward. Might even want to scooch forward a bit, and then just relax onto your back. Allowing the feet to lay open, palms facing open, or facing up rather. Shoulders away from the ears. We lift the head, bring the chin in a bit, and we drop the head back down. And we just breathe here. Doing a nice quick scan through the body, making sure that we're relaxed all through the body. And once we've done with our scan, once we're relaxed, we come to relax the mind, and we do so by focusing on the present moment. And in this present moment, all that we are doing is laying on the floor and breathing. Feeling the air as it comes in and as it comes out of the nostrils. Feeling as the belly rises and falls with each breath. And if you find that the mind starts to wander, simply acknowledging that the mind has wandered and bringing it back to the breath. If you'd like to stay here for longer, please do. Otherwise, if you're waking up with me now, starting to wiggle through the fingers and toes, flopping the feet side to side, flopping the head side to side. Whenever you feel ready, bringing up the knees, turning over onto one side, and then we push ourselves up, coming up into our seated position. Taking a moment to just come back to life. Bringing the hands to the sides. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come down to your heart. And again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come down to your heart. And one last time, inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come down to your heart. Take some time to reflect back on the intention, if you set one at the beginning of the practice. And to thank yourself for dedicating this time to your mind and to your body. And I thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please let me know how you found it, and you know, the comparison to the more fast-paced strength. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.